How's it going, Eddie?
Good.
Sam Lowe here for IrishBoxing.com. Welcome back to Dublin. A couple of things. First of all, this is an unbelievable card. Congratulations on that. We're interested, have you learned a little bit from the last time you were here with Matthew Macklin? I know that maybe the response to the card wasn't as maybe as you would have hoped at that time, but this one is phenomenal.
Yeah, I think boxing was just different back then. You know, it was 7 years ago. I say we didn't know what we were doing, but you know, we're in a situation where we didn't have the budget, we didn't have the same ticket sales or the gate to put on that kind of event, and it wasn't expected. I mean, still, there are a lot of people that are saying they don't think it's a very good card on Saturday. Like, you read Twitter and I just think, I don't know what more you can do. I mean, you've got 3 or 4 fights that could headline its own card, and they're all on one card, headlined by an undisputed fight, like a fighter that, you know, it's like, but, so I know when it's a good card, and the reason I know when it's a good card is when I'm talking about it at the press conference, I'm selling it with even more passion. Like, and I can go through the whole card now, from the first fight on the card to the last fight on the card, and every fight's a good fight. Every fight's a competitive fight. There's going to be upsets, there's going to be dramas, there's going to be knockouts, and I just think it's a really good night. But the key here is to create a night that people in the arena or watching on DAZN turn around and go, I love that. And that's the biggest buzz for me as a promoter. But also, if we're going to come back, we might come back to Croke Park, who knows? You need to let everyone leave that night and go, that was unbelievable. When's the next one? Because we can come back with Gary Cully, or we can come back with Kevin, or we can come back, you know, with other fighters as well, Thomas Carty in a couple of years to come, whatever it is. But if we don't provide opportunities for them to fight in this country, they're never really going to develop in the right way.
Absolutely. And you touched on Gary Cully there. Let's speak a little bit about his opponent. I think a lot of people think that it's a slightly underwhelming opponent. I don't know why. I know you've been talking about it's a good opportunity to give him some rounds. I think a lot of people disagree with that. There was a lot of big names thrown around before, you know, the likes of Jorge Linares, George Kambosos. There was a lot of big names thrown around. What happened with the opponent, and why did we not seem to get a big name opponent?
Yeah, so I'll be honest. In terms of what we were planning, it is a little bit of an underwhelming opponent. But as the weeks have gone on, I like the opponent and I like the spot, because I want a tough opponent that comes to win. And the problem that when you look at Gary Cully's last 3 opponents, Miguel Vasquez particularly, like, good name, but at the end of his career, then a French opponent, and then last time out with Fredo Flores. This is a better opponent, right? And we can all get high on Gary Cully, and we can all talk about Kambosos, and we can all talk about this. But until we see him under pressure or see him go through rounds, do we really want to gamble at that level? So I'm pleased with the opponent. I did expect a bigger name. You know, there were a couple of mishaps, and, you know, training started a bit late and stuff like that. So it wasn't ideal, but I like Jose Felix, and I like what he said today. You know, and I know him, and I know Paco, his manager. And when Paco says to me, "We're going to fucking go for it on Saturday night," I promise you, he'll go for it on Saturday night.
I hope so. Do you think we're approaching a period of time now with Gary where it might be difficult to get him those names because they're going to price themselves
We wanted
out?
Maxi Hughes. I mean, Maxi Hughes took, in the end, a little bit less money to fight George Kambosos in America. But why would you fight Gary Cully? He made the right decision. If you're Maxi Hughes, why would you fight Gary Cully? You're probably not going to beat him. He's not yet a big name. If you lose to George Kambosos, you can fight Gary Cully next. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult to get the fights for Gary Cully, but as his profile rises, as we got more budget for that opponent, we can just start. But he's still young, he's still learning. This occasion's going to be quite interesting for him as well. But it's going to bring him on a lot, and, you know, it's going to put him in good stead for a tougher opposition.
Absolutely. Last one or two for me. Let's talk a little bit.
When you say 1 or 2, is it 1 or is it 2?
2.
Okay.
What kind of atmosphere do you expect here? I know you've been here before, and we obviously have Conor McGregor and big stars, but I'm sure you've seen it this week.
Yeah.
Katie Taylor's a different level. What are you expecting on Saturday night?
I'm expecting one of the greatest atmospheres I've ever witnessed at a boxing event. You know, for many reasons. One is the kind of rebirth of Irish boxing, the excitement, and particularly, of course, the homecoming of Katie Taylor, one of your greatest ever athletes, not boxers, athletes. And you never met anyone that don't like Katie Taylor. I mean, how unique is that? Everyone's got their opinion about people. Some you love, some you hate, whatever. Show me one person that doesn't like Katie Taylor. It doesn't exist. So therefore, you're going to see the country come together on Saturday night for an unbelievable moment. But also, a 50-50 fight. That's the reality. This fight's going to be a war on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Last one for me. I know you don't really want to give a prediction because you have both fighters, but how do you see the fight playing out?
I think that if Chantel Cameron can force Katie to hold her feet and fight early, it's going to be a very tough night for Katie Taylor. The first half of this fight is very important. Katie Taylor, she will bank rounds and then engage in a war. It's when that war starts. Serrano managed to get her doing it early, and it was back and forth. But I just can't see her going out and boxing. Like, I can't see her. The instruction may be just go and bank rounds and outbox her. No. When she's under attack, when she's under pressure, she's not just going to keep running and moving. She's going to hold her feet and she's going to engage, and you will get a thriller.
Absolutely. Eddie, thanks very much for talking about our